Hello guys and welcome to another video on my channel. Today we will be ranking Offhands in Derelict. I will be ranking them based on how strong they are in PvP and PvE. We will be starting off with summons. Summons are offhands that boost your damage by a small amount and allow you to summon entities that help you with your fight. Using the ability while no summon is out will summon the entity. Using the ability while the entity is out will command it to do a special attack. Summons stay even after switching the offhands. However, summoning a different summon will cancel the previous one. Starting off with Lizard. Lizard is probably the first summon you will get in the game. It is by far the easiest one to get and sadly is the weakest one also. Starting off, Lizard has a pretty basic range attack which is Acid Spit that inflicts poison status. On command, if you press the ability while the lizard is already spawned, it will do a grab attack that also inflicts poison status, but it's really rare to even hit. Lizard is also the only summon that can execute downed players in PvP. Sadly, that ability is also rarely useful. The basic M1 of Lizard doesn't do that much damage either. Overall, Lizard is a pretty mid summon and it goes to C tier. Snakes. The main thing about snakes is their number advantage. While they might not be strong individually, but 6 of them can really do a good job in specific situations. Snakes have a pretty decent range attack where they spit venom. Sadly, that attack has no status effect. Their M1 on the other hand inflicts poison status, which combine that with 6 snakes, the enemy will start to take damage from poison really quick. On command, if you press the ability while the snakes are already spawned, they will start to spit venom. For PvP, snakes can be really annoying as the sheer number advantage can protect you from a lot of enemy attacks. Overall, they go in A tier. Frost Golem. Now this is the best summon in the game. It is by far the tankiest summon in the game, which can be really useful to protect you from attacks both in PvP and PvE. On command, if you press the ability while the golem is spawned, he will do a stomp attack with 2 Winter's Grace piercing projectiles, which is not only good at close range but also at long range. Frost Golem has also the best ability out of all the summons in the game, where he does a Frost Breath, dealing a lot of damage and frostbite. His basic M1 attacks are also pretty decent. Overall, this is an easy S tier. Tomes. Tomes are a magic related offhand boosting arcane damage on max grade by 40%. Lunar Tome. This is the best tome in the game right now. Its weapon art is also very good, where it inflicts 35 frostbite with your basic attack, and in a party you can give yourself and your allies a frost shield for 16 seconds. This is an easy S tier. Solar Tome. This is a tome a little bit worse than the previous one. Its passive increases all healing by 50% as well as an extra 50% healing from the illumination. Its weapon art, however, has to be one of the worst abilities in the game, where you chain yourself and your ally, and when your ally or you receives damage, you will also receive that damage too, which is genuinely useless. Overall, never use the weapon art. Solar Tome is an A tier. Cracked Orb. This is the worst tome in the game at the moment. On grade 12 it boosts your arcane by 12%. It has no weapon art and no passive ability. Overall, this is a D tier. Shields are offhands that replace the charge attack with a block. Blocking reduces incoming damage, and if you time your block perfectly, you can perform a parry to neglect all damage and deal heavy stance damage to your enemy. All shields also increase stamina by 12. Plasma Shield. This is probably the second best shield in the game right now. On grade 12 it boosts your resistance by 8% and armor by 32%. Its passive ability is that when you block a hit, it stores the damage from 112% to 400% of your power for 16 seconds, and the next basic attack you hit will do extra damage. So in simple terms, if you block an attack, the next attack you will hit will do 2 times more damage, and the more attacks you block, your damage can go up to 4 times or even 6 times. Its weapon art is sadly ass, as it generates a shield that makes you move slowly and it doesn't even tank that much. Overall, this is an easy S tier. Great Gravestone. This is the best shield in the game right now by far. On grade 12 it boosts your resistance and armor by 40%. It has a passive ability where if you block an attack it gives you a shield equal to 15% of your armor for 8 seconds. This shield has no weapon art. With this passive ability it's good both in PvP and PvE. That's why it's in an easy S tier. Aurel Frost Shield. This shield on grade 12 boosts your resistance by 60% and armor by 24%. This shield sadly has no passive ability. Its weapon art allows you to charge a blast that pulls enemies towards you and deals a massive amount of damage with frostbite. The problem is that it charges really slow and in PvP can be easily avoided, and in PvE bosses will just kill you. Overall, this is a B tier. Aureatus Shield. This shield on grade 12 boosts your resistance by 24% and armor by 16%. This shield, same as with Aurel Frost Shield, has no passive ability. Its weapon art allows you to charge at the enemy, dealing 150% power damage and applies illumination, which can be useful to cancel attacks like Paladin's hammer attacks in second phase or his Auratus Calling. Overall, this is an A tier. Plasteel Shield. This shield on grade 12 boosts your resistance by 20% and armor by 20% also. This shield is pretty bad. It has no passive ability and no weapon art. That's why it's going to the C tier. Dusty Royal Shield. On grade 12 it boosts your resistance by 12% and armor by 28%. This shield has no passive ability and no weapon art. That's why I will put it in the same category as Plasteel Shield, which is C tier. Steel Shield. This shield on grade 12 boosts your resistance by 12% and armor by 12%. This shield also has no passive ability and no weapon art, but because its stats are also worse than the two previous shields, I'm going to put it in D tier. OAK shield. This shield on grade 12 boosts your resistance by 8% and armor by 8%. This shield has no passive ability and no weapon art. The stats are getting progressively worse, and this one is going straight to F tier. Old shield. This shield on grade 12 boosts your resistance by 4% and armor by 4%. This shield has no passive ability and no weapon art. This is an easy F tier. Quivers. Quivers are offhands that boost your physical damage of both melee and bow by 40% on max grade. For bows, it also gives an additional damage buff as well as the ability to not consume any arrow on the second attack. Flare Quiver. Attacks using the bow deal extra 12% damage. Basic arrow attacks apply 22 combustion to the enemy. Overall, this is an A tier. Frost Quiver. Attacks using the bow deal 12% damage. Basic arrow attacks apply 16 frostbite to the enemy. Overall, this quiver is an A tier. Holy Quiver. Take away 10% of your health upon equipping it. Attacks using the bow deal an extra 12% damage. Basic arrow attacks have a 50% chance to apply illumination to the enemy. Overall, this quiver is a D tier because the illumination isn't good at all, and it also takes away your health. Toxic Quiver. Attacks using the bow deal an extra 12% damage. Basic arrow attacks 16 poison to the enemy. Overall, this quiver is an A tier. Old Quiver. Attacks using the bow deal an extra 5% damage. This quiver does no additional stats like poison or frostbite with its basic attack, that's why it's going to D tier. Sidearms are offhands that are used mostly for their active ability, that are about dealing damage while providing a small damage buff. Plasma Igniter. Plasma Igniter on grade 12 boosts your power by 24% and arcane by 24%. Its weapon art releases a laser beam that does 100% damage and 150% arcane damage every 0.5 seconds for up to 4 seconds. To deal full amount of damage, hold the key. The moment you let go of the key after pressing is when the laser stops. The laser also deals stance damage that scales with the stance damage of your weapon. Overall, this is an B tier because during the 4-second attack you can't do anything else such as dodging, which is really bad. Egg Cannon. Egg Cannon on grade 12 boosts your power by 24% and arcane by 24%. Its weapon art releases an egg blast that splits into more egg attacks as it goes, dealing massive amounts of damage. Overall, this is an A tier as unlike the Plasma Igniter, after shooting it, you can move and deal damage with other attacks. Thanks for watching the video. Remember to join our guild, link in the description.